Good morning, participants. Welcome to this beautiful session. Today we have a special guest and a special speaker, Dr. Lamlun Buhril, Assistant Professor, SAI LNCPE Trivandrum. In this panel, we have our respected Dr. G. Kishore sir, as well as Sujit Panigrahi as a panelist. About Dr. Lamlun Buhril, uh, sir is an associate professor in SAI LNCP from since 1993. In 1993, Bachelor of Physical Education, and in 1995, Master of Physical Education. He completed these courses in Lakshmi Bai National College of Physical Education, from known as LNIPE Gwalior, and he joined as a permanent faculty of SAI LNCP Trivandrum, Kerala in November 1996. He also has the distinction of service as a officer on special duty OSD for a period of 3 years in administration under Sports Authority of India at Northeast
So,
Regional Center, Imphal, Manipur. Presently dealing with both sports psychology and sports management in master degree level. Dr. Buhril sir plays a and teaches various games and sports besides football, which is always his first choice and respected. Sir also participates in many activities like table tennis, a second choice of his, and Sir has represented Jivaji University in All India University Championship, already author and co-author number of books with few more on the way, and Sir also published number of articles at an international and national reputed journals. One of his favorite dialogue is how to teach teachers, or how committed a teacher is. The most and only reliable judge will be those he or she taught. Dr. Buhril sir will be talking on creativity in physical education and sports for PETs. So I, in behalf of SAI LNCP, Khelo India, Youth Ministry, Youth Affairs and Sports, and behalf of our respected Dr. G. Kishore sir, Principal, I welcome you, sir, for this session. And I hope that today once again there will be a shower of knowledge on students. Uh, Participants, be prepared, gain as much as knowledge from Buhril sir. Now, I request Buhril sir to take over this session. And in this panelist, even Sujit Panigrahi sir is there. Please welcome sir for this session.
thank you. All the best, Buhril sir.
Buhril sir.
Thank you.
It's a very important session. I think a lot of people, creativity is something that is that makes one school better than the others. So I guess your session is going to be very important.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Patel, and welcome, Mr. Sujit. Nice meeting you after a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I was waiting for your session.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be talking about creativity in physical education and sports. Today morning will be mostly talking more on experience and opinion, apart from collecting some vital information from literature. I hope you'll be able to gain something important. And at the onset, let me make it very clear, until unless you're willing to open up yourself to learn something, no speaker, no presenter will be able to put anything into your head. So I just want you to broaden your thoughts and get prepared, at least to learn something this fine morning. Coming to the topic, Uh, as mentioned earlier, creativity in physical education. I have here an introduction. I think you can go through it in the screen. Let me read it out. It is impossible to live pleasurably without living wisely, well, and justly, and impossible to live wisely, well, and justly without living pleasurably. This is a quotation given by Epicurus. However, I'm not going to go dig deep into it, but I want you to learn something from this important quotation. Here, what I want to stress, the moot point is, until unless you're willing to enjoy your job, until unless you're willing to enjoy your work, trying to gain happiness is almost going to be next to impossible. So stressing from this quotation, I want you to look back. I'm very sure most of the participants today are physical education teachers across the country. And another request is, until unless you enjoy your work, getting satisfactory or getting happy and getting creativity is almost going to be next to impossible. So I hope it is time to introspect and look back and improve ourselves. The presentation objective, I have four important objectives, in fact, five. The first one is creative and innovative idea applicable into your program as a physical education teacher is not going to be not going to happen by chance. The reason why it is creativity is in fact not God-given, man-made. This is my own light. It is nothing against religions. But what I want to stress here is, if you want to be creative in your job or in your life, you really have to put your own efforts. There's also always a saying that God helps those who help themselves, right? So if you're willing to help yourself and willing to put effort, creativity will come to you. And which way your creativity will drive, maybe God will be always be supportive on your quest. Second one is the importance on how to involve staff, children, and parents in your physical education programs. As mentioned earlier, since most of you are from physical education, working as a physical education teachers, I just want to add few points in the presentations, how we will be able to get the student, your colleague, the staff, and the parents into your programs. And the third one is to inform physical education teachers across the country the right attitude and approach needed to positively contribute in community fitness programs. This is my third objective. And introduction of the concept of plogging as part of fitness initiative. And the last one, at the bottom of the screen, you'll be finding creative and innovative ideas are in direct proportion to the effort you put in. In other words, the more effort you put into your work, the more you are going to be creative, the more you're going to be satisfied, the more you're going to be happy. Okay, this is going to be the objective. Looking at the objective, I hope you'll be prepared to get something from my presentation this fine morning. Coming to the first one, meaning of the words creativity in physical education and sports. Here, under this topic, meaning of creativity in physical education, I'll be touching two important topics. What is creativity in physical education and sports? And second one is why creativity is needed in physical education and sports. Coming to the first one, what is creativity? I look at creativity, we just give the words A, B, C of creativity. What is the first one? Or just before I get into it, let me, as I was preparing for my presentation, these words come up. I define creativity in my own way like this. Creativity means doing something more efficiently, right? Creativity means doing something more efficiently than the traditional methods. What I mean is you're adding some innovative ideas, some changes to the situation, but the aim is always doing efficiently and doing it successfully and satisfactorily. Until unless your creativity fulfill this success and satisfaction, then might be your creativity will not be completed. So in other words, my definition of creativity means doing something more efficiently than the traditional methods and doing it successfully and satisfactorily. Coming back to the meaning of creativity, I put the first one is abstract thinking. This abstract thinking is when you're adding some innovative ideas into it, your imagination, original ideas into something which is already available. And the aim is always to make things better. That is what I talk about abstract thinking. The first represented by A is abstract thinking, and the second one is balancing situation. Balancing situation is in other words, solving a problem in a new but effective way, in a balanced manner. Here, what I said balanced manner is, it is possible to be creative in a very destructive way, right? I repeat, it is possible to be creative in a very destructive way, to harm someone else, or to be selfish only for your gain, you can be creative. As a physical education teachers, we are not looking at this one. We want you to be creative so that everything will be mutual and for the betterment of your students and the community. So that balancing of the situation is always going to be very important. And the third one, C stand for confidence. Confidence is the willingness to take the risk, to trust yourself, to believe in yourself, to take out the doubt you have in yourself, and having the confidence to take the risk. So this ABC of creativity, abstract thinking, balancing situations, and confidence and willing to move forward, as long as you can apply this one in physical education and sports, in your profession, we'll call that one creativity in physical education. Now, the second and most important point is why creativity is essential in physical education and sports. I have been working as a physical education teacher. Have the experience of working as a physical education teachers in some of the best schools in India. And I know what is the things needed in physical education department. And as a physical education teacher working in different parts of the country, I can understand what are the basic problems you'll be facing. I know you'll be able to list 10, 20, 50, even hundreds problems you are facing in physical education, right? But I just list down 5 things here. The first problem we're facing in physical education today is, in school physical education today is manpower, staff. Sometime you may find you're the only physical education teacher working in the school. This is a reality of our Indian situation. As for me, 1995, when I was working in the Sri Ram school in Delhi, fortunately, maybe it is a reputed school or maybe it is a good school. That is way back in 1995, we have 4 in the junior school, 4 physical education teachers in the junior school, and another 3 physical education teachers in the senior school. That means all together we have 8 physical education teachers, 4 plus 3, sorry, 7 physical education teachers we have during that time. That is in way back in 1995. But that is not always the situation in other schools, especially in government school. You'll be having maximum only 1 physical education. So now the staff, the manpower is one basic problem we have in physical education. And the second one is equipment and facilities will never be sufficient. The equipments and facilities in the school setup will never be to your satisfaction. And third one is the funding. You want to conduct some programs, always you'll be granted the minimum amount to be sanctioned, right? So you may always make this excuse, I am unable to conduct successful program because the funding is very less. No one is bothered about my school, my physical education department. And at the same time, number four, number of allotted class. This is where most of us have a problem. Number of allotted class. Maybe if it is not too much, it will be too less. And sometime, since most of the school is academically oriented school, every physical education teachers, every physical education class you have, or a sports class you have, you may find a subject teachers coming and taking the class, telling that they have to complete the syllabus. So sometimes you always end up without student. Or in other time, 2, 3 classes will come together. So things can never go as you planned. These are some basic problems. And the last one I have listed here is no clear-cut syllabus. You don't know. For maths, science, and other subjects, there's a very clear syllabus. On the first term, they have to do this, they have to complete this. Very clear syllabus is there. But whereas in physical education, making a clear syllabus is never easy. I know CBSE comes up with some defined syllabus of what to do, but practically how much it is implement, since you are working in a school physical education situation, you'll be able to understand better. So I have listed this 5 problem usually faced by physical education teachers in school. And if you look at these problems, I think it is all shared by all physical education teachers. The question or the answer here is it solvable? If these 5 problems are solvable, maybe in the last 30, 40 years it have been solved, but it is not solved. So what I want to stress one is, if you look at the right-hand side or left-hand side of the screen, I put that words, that particular emoji, don't complain about it. As a physical education teacher, sometimes it is always better not to complain, because if by complaining, if you will be able to change something, that is good. But where you knows that by complaining or making excuse, if it is not going to help, my suggestion would be don't complain, look for a solution. When I said look for a solution, in other words, I'm requesting you, try to be creative, try to utilize the situation, try to look at the situation, try to look at the problems and try to find the solution. This is what I want to stress, right? So instead of grumbling or instead of making excuse or instead of always complaining, try to look at the situation without complaining and try to find your own solution. I think once you work out, once you come up with some innovative ideas, then I will be appreciated by your institution and you'll be getting more satisfaction in your job. This is why I said creativity is essence. Why creativity is essential. So my request once again is let us not let us avoid complaining when it is not going to be useful, but find a solution on our own, which will be helping the student and the school at large. Coming to the next point is setting your professional philosophy right. When you first get a job as a physical education teacher or as a coach, if you just look back, your first entry as a professional into this profession, usually everyone can be categorized into 3. I don't know in which part you will be coming. Maybe you'll be partly number 1, more inclined to number 1, and you'll be more inclined to number 1, In other words, your inclination to number one may be, let's say, 60%, and to number two, it may be 30%, or to the last one, it may be 10%. But just to briefly check at the philosophy, I'll tell you what I mean by philosophy. Philosophy means your belief, your principle, the things you want to use it for the things you want you to guide you, your belief, so that you will be able to you're able to fulfill your objective. So that is what I mean by philosophy. So we can categorize ourselves under three here. The first type of group, as a person who first joined as a coach or physical education teacher, the first group believe I have to make the winning team, right? We call this one winning philosophy. They are crazy about winning. By any means, they'll try to keep on winnings, getting trophy. That used to be one objective of so many of us. And the second group of people, what we said is, the second group of physical education teachers, they'll be telling to help young people have fun. This is called participation philosophy. Why do we talk about participation philosophy means the first time you join us in a school, you said, I'm going to make my children enjoy. That the first and the second is not a bad philosophy either. It is a good philosophy. The question is whether it is complete, whether it is really useful as a physical education teachers. We are going to look at the third one. The third one, we call it developmental philosophy. Why do we talk about developmental philosophy? The third type of philosophy. The third type of philosophy is to help young people develop physically, psychologically, and socially. What does it mean? We are talking about all-round development of the child. If you are working as a school, if you work as a school, as a physical education, let it be as a physical education teacher, or let it be as a NEET teacher, even let it be as an art teacher, or in other words, as a human in general, I would seriously suggest to go for the third developmental philosophy, because your aim is to interact with your student, and your aim is to develop them. Not just though you may be a sports teacher, your aim is not just to development, not just to develop them in sports. Your aim is to develop them, to teach them some life values about how to maintain your physical well-being. One. Second one is how to be stable psychologically, emotionally, and how to be well adjusted among the community and among the society. If you aim, if you go for the third philosophy, I think you'll do much better than the first two. So I want to urge you once again, I want to stress once again, the first and the second is not bad, but if you have more inclination towards the first and the second one, I just I just request you to consider the third one seriously, so that you'll be a successful physical education teacher. Because once you can help a student physically, psychologically, socially, or even spiritually, if you can help, the happiness and the satisfaction you're going to get in return is going to be immense. It's going to be huge. And that is what we have to aim as a physical education teachers. Now, one more thing I want to stress is to be creative as a physical education. One very important thing is there, as I've mentioned earlier, you should be to be successful and satisfactory. What does it take to become satisfied, and successful as a physical education teachers? I want to stress related to this one two important things. One is think big, right? You try to broaden your outlook on life. Let it be physical, psychological, spiritual, or even social. Where you started having this narrow outlook or a selfish outlook, Even if you are creative, like I said before, you will tend to move in a destructive creative, creatively destructive. We don't want to go that side. So just think about the think big and try to help the society, try to help your student. Let it be from any community, let it be from any parts of the country. You just have this broad outlook and your creative energy will be strive towards helping the society or the community better. And the second one is to be creative, you have to step out of your comfort zone. When I stress stepping out of the comfort zone, let us keep one thing in mind. It does not mean I never mean to say that you have to punish oneself. No, we have to think about progressing from little by little in a planned manner, right? Progressive, slowly, slowly. Let us talk about coming out of your comfort zone when it comes to fitness. If you said today, the presenter said to be successful and to be creative, one have to come out of comfort zone. Now, your daily practice of fitness, let's say it is 2 kilometers. Tomorrow, if you just go and run for 5 kilometers, jogging and running, you may kill yourself also. I don't mean to say that. If you want to progress to 5 kilometers or 4 kilometers, plan it in such a way, try to come out of your comfort zone. Maybe your normal routine is to go 2 kilometers. Next week, maybe you'll be able to go 2.5 kilometers. And the next week, up to 3, little by little, if you increase, that is what I mean by coming out of your comfort zone in a progressive manner to make things better, to improve yourself. And until unless you are willing to come out of your comfort zone, it is never going to be easy to get even creative. One more situation I'll tell you, one more example. You're working as a physical education teachers, right? If you're working as a physical education teachers, what is the normal things you used to do? Maybe the normal things you used to do is when the class comes together, you just divide them into two groups, give them ball or some equipments and ask them to play. If this is your normal routine, coming out of comfort zone, one suggestion I'll make is maybe next week onwards, you decide I'm going to teach this class out of 45 minutes, I'm going to teach them skill for 15 minutes. Even this also is coming out of a comfort zone. It's it start little by little, step by step, in a progressive manner. Only when you're willing to come out of your comfort zone, then getting creative with your thinking for the betterment of the student and for the betterment of the community will work. And coming to the next point, what are the steps to be creative? What are the steps to be creative as a physical education teachers? I have listed two important things here. One is planning and preparing for a class. Second one is diary recording. This I used to call it a plus and minus technique. Now, look at the first one, planning and preparing for class. What does planning and preparing for class means? Planning means deciding in advance what you're going to do. Until unless you, uh, ladies and gentlemen, today presentation is going to be not just in physical education. I hope it will be applicable in your life also. Planning is deciding advance what you're going to do. This is the planning definition. Unless and until and unless you decide what you're going to do, getting satisfaction or getting coming out with some new ideas is going to be next to impossible. Let me repeat, it is going to be very, very difficult. So if you want to be a creative physical education, to the first important thing is you have to be planned and prepare for your class. Planning is deciding in advance what to do. And second one is preparation is practicing how you are going to do things. The more you practice, the better you are going to become. So do remember, until unless you are willing to plan, until unless you're willing to prepare for class, then improvement is going to be very difficult. And until unless you're willing to improve, getting creative in physical education as a physical education professional is not going to happen. And the second one, I mentioned this one, the plus and minus technique. The plus and minus. Plus means here it is just about getting positive. Here, if you look at the screen, I said the plus and minus technique. The plus part is plus means positive habit, habitual practice of maintaining a diary or planning books where you consistently keep or maintain records about the programs, about your programs for the class. What you're going to do tomorrow or in the days to come, next week, or even having a plan, what you're going to do the next month. That is what we call about, and putting out in a diary, right? Putting out in a diary, that is what we call the plus technique. And when we talk about minus technique is nothing negative. In minus technique, I want to stress about you already have in your right hand side, you already have all the plus technique, your diary which is maintained, how you are going to do, how you are going to take your class, how you are going to do things efficiently. All your planning is in hand, in paper. This is what you are going to, maybe you have written it in a book, or maybe you have written it in a papers. This is what you're going to try out in school. Then after I I know sometime it may work and sometime it may not work. When we talk about minus technique does not end after finishing this classes. Minus technique means you go back in your free time, maybe in the evening before you sleep, or maybe after when you are getting ready for dinner, you just look back at the plan you made, your plus positive plan. You just look into it and how much it is applicable in your class. And since you have already tried your ideas, there must be something which is not working. Those that is not workable, that is not practical, that is not implementable, you just delete it. That is what I mean by minus. So all the workable solution you have in your notebook now, and from this step, if you keep on moving forwards, then your creativity is going to be improved. And not only this one, once you maintain a diary, since you have your own ideas of what is going to work, you can take it out later on for a good research program or project also can be planned out in this from your diary. And as a physical education teachers, it is good to have some research interest. Research interest here, I did not mean that it have to be always complicated. Research Having research interest means you try to find out something which is workable, something which is in your ideas, something which you'll find will work. Try out that one. If it works out, then automatically you're going to be a very good researcher. This is what I mean by the step to become creativity as a physical education teacher. There's just two ways. The first one is to prepare and plan for a class, and the second one is to maintain diary. And next one, we are living in this pandemic situation, right? And the COVID-19 situation. So the word symptom is so common. That is why I said symptom of creative physical education teachers. Symptom, since most of the time it is used for negatively, here I want to stress we are going to use the word symptom in a positive sense. Symptom means something that will be able to help you identify that something that will make you stand apart, something that will make you that will make that will make you visible. Right? the symptom to be creative physical education. What are the things you can do if you really want to be uh, creative as a physical education teachers? The first one is popularity for the right reason within the school premises. As a physical education teachers, I know most of you will be the most popular faculties or the most popular teachers in the school. But how do you popularize yourself in the school? That is going to be very, very important. The first important symptom of a creative physical education, I'll tell you, is how to be creative as a physical education teacher is to be popular in the school for the right reason. Okay, not for the wrong reason. If someone said our physical education teacher is the most dangerous teacher in this campus, that might not be the right reason. I want that the student inside the campus, not just the student, the faculty, the staff, your colleague, and all the staff should be able to look up to you. So what you have to do in this case, three important things are there. The first one is how you carry yourself. How did you carry yourself? Carrying yourself means how you project yourself, how you present yourself. Physical education teachers are expected to be, in today's language, let us say, to maintain their BMI index, right? Body mass index. You should be within the acceptable range of your BMI. This is what we want a physical education teacher. So, and physical education teachers are expected to be fit, to be presentable. They have to they have to look good. Just by looking at them also, respect have to be there. Oh, this is the guy who always maintain his fitness. And maintaining fitness is one of the most difficult things in this world. And once you can maintain your fitness, I'll tell you, automatically your confidence is going to be so many notches higher. So how you carry yourself is so the most identifiable ways of carrying yourself is let other people realize that you are fit as a physical education teacher. If you are not fit, please take a decision today and try to reduce your body weights and try to be someone who can carry yourself. And the second one is your attire and fashion selection is important. Now, as a physical education teachers, you cannot just say that my dress should be all, since I'm from sports, I always have to dress with tracksuit and others. No. I also work as a physical education teachers, and I learn from my experience. There are so many things we have to learn when it comes to fashion. You have three important things are there. You have to be comfortable with your sports attire. Let it be your tracksuit or your t-shirt or your sport dress. Also, you have to be feel comfortable. Second one is you to be acceptable, to be accepted by student, especially in this age. You have to be comfortable with your, you know, this casual dress also. Here, when I talk about getting comfortable with casual dress, I did not mean that as a teacher you have to go and wear these torn jeans and other things, not like that. I, you can be very cleanly also, you can keep on dressing in as a casual dress. But you have to be comfortable in casual dress too. And the third one when it comes to fashion is it is very, very important. Most of the physical teachers, physical education teachers ignore. You have to be very, very comfortable with your formal dress also. Before wearing a tie, if you're not used to it, it is not easy. So to be comfortable, you should have the habit of wearing ties sometimes. Or even in formal dress, how to wear a suit, also that you have to have one. and you have to dress occasionally to the situation for this one also. Because until unless we practice it, getting comfortable in this three types of dress, sportswear, casual dress, and formal dress, is never easy. If you are used to only sports dress, the day you are forced to wear your formal dress, you are going to feel so odd. So do avoid that one and keep practicing. Have a good choice, especially when it comes to dress selection. In other words, feel comfortable with sports dress, casual dress, and formal dress as a physical education teachers. The third way of getting popular for the right vision inside the school is your social skill matters. Here, what I want to stress about social skill is you you have to be so very, very approachable, right? You have to be approachable. You have to make, you have to be well adjusted with the subordinates also, with other subject teachers also, especially. With other subject teachers also, you have to develop a very good rapport. And with the higher authority, let it be the headmistress, the supervisor, or the principal, even the board members also, you have to have this good relationship, good social skill. If you are someone who stick to only your department, then popularity in the school premises is never going to be possible. And let me repeat, this social skill, this fashion, how you improve your fitness, it all depends upon you. If you want to improve it, then you can improve it. Otherwise, if you feel that, no, I'm satisfied with myself, then I'll call it a, that I'll call it not a thinking big. So there also no one can improve you. So only option is, if you follow these three suggestions I have given, I am very sure you'll be quite popular in the school premises. And the second one, a symptom of creative physical education teacher is big queue during PTA meeting, parents teacher meeting. Occasionally, there's always a parents teacher meeting. And especially if you're working in a private or good school, there, this PTA meeting is very common. How how many people wait for you outside the room, outside the physical education department will decide whether you are popular or whether you are a very good physical education teacher. During PTA meeting, if you don't find any parents waiting for you outside your room, then it is high time to look into yourself. Maybe the effort you put in your profession is not enough, or maybe you did not make the right move. Your social skill is not good enough, right? So the best way to ascertain that you are a good physical education teacher is during PTA meeting, if you find a lot of people, a lot of parents coming to meet you, then that will give you one guarantee that you are not a bad physical education teacher. In fact, a good and excellent physical education teachers is decided by the number of queue, the number of people waiting to meet you during PTA meetings. And the third one, symptom of creative physical education teachers, I said, Indian reality, no fun, no sports. What is the new reality in physical education? No, in Indian sports, not in Indian sports or the world sports in general. The world sports in general, you must be seeing, if you follow football, all this Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, or even this Champions League, one thing you'll find is there's no more spectators nowadays, right? So spectator is no more there. In India, even IPL also, we are still slightly hesitant to start because we are afraid we'll not be able to get spectators. But what we have to learn, this is the new reality in the world of sports. Sometime we have to adapt ourselves, even if there's no fan, even if there's no one around, we have to keep giving the same effort we are giving. This is what I want to stress by the third one. Indian reality, no fun, no sports. Don't just do things to please others, right? Don't just let your attention be not just to please it, even if there's no one looking around, even if there's no principal around, even if there's no headmistress around, just do your work diligently, sincerely, and you'll be noticed. And in the end, people will talk about you. You'll develop a very, very good fan base. A lot of your students will start idolizing you. Your colleague, other subject teachers will start admiring you. And once these two important groups look you in a very positive manners, the higher authority, the headmistress, the supervisor, the principal is bound to know about the effort you're putting. So from the third one, please do learn. The aim is not to work just to please somebody, but to work sincerely to please yourself. This is the symptom of creativity. And if you look into this tree seriously, I am very sure tomorrow onwards you'll become a better physical education teachers. And next and very important one is your visibility, what you have to do and what you should not do. I just selected only few points so that your understanding will be clear. The first one is, as a physical education teacher, what you should never do is don't, for a physical education, two important things. Briefly, I'll go now. Professional nurses, don't be someone who said that I am from physical education profession, I'm from this sports profession. Sports profession is the best. Physical education is the best. This is having this narcissist attitude. I don't want you, don't think that your area is always the best. But don't think that all other areas the best also. You have to be proud of your field. You have to be proud of your profession, but don't be that person who always thinks that mine is the best. This I call it professional narcissists who blindly believe only in their profession. Don't be someone, a physical education teachers who believe in that. And second one, almost opposite of that one, it is having this inferiority complex as a physical education teachers. You may be new you may be new to the school, but you just assume once you are employed as a teacher, you are a teacher equal to all other subject teachers. Let it be a computer teacher, let it be a science teacher, or even maths teacher. You are no less than these people. There's no reason that you may not be. You have to have this inferiority complex. You may not be as good in English as a English teacher, but this does not necessarily mean that you have to have this complex, right? Because for them, English is their subject, and obviously they have to be good. This does not have any reason for you to feel bad. So never develop this inferiority complex wherever in your school campus. And another important, three important things you have to do is stay updated, read literature. If you are interested in fitness, how do I improve? How do I improve my fitness? How can I motivate others to be fit? All this you keep on going through literature. You Google it, whatever you want, you'll be finding it. So please stay updated with your profession. Be good in your, let your knowledge be updated so that you will have this confidence. And second one is trust your instinct. Think about something, and if you feel that, at least in your profession, if I teach my children like this, if I teach my student like this, I am very sure they are going to, it is going to help them. If you can come up with this sort of solution, in other words, if you can get creative, trust your instinct, believe in yourself, that is going to be very important. And the last one, the last important things you have to keep in mind is love your job. Until unless you love your job, getting happy and satisfaction in your life is never going to happen. And uh, there's some more topics to cover, but I'll start moving slightly faster. The next topic we're going to cover is small area game. How, in other words, how to involve especially the staff and parents into your program. How to involve the parents and the staff into your program. The first and foremost important one is you have your work has to be visible. Your publicity have to be very good. If a child, if your student give a positive feedback to their parents, automatically most of the parents will become your fan. And only when they become your fans, only when they look you in a positive light, then influencing them is going to happen. That is one. And it always show with your work visibility, I call it. And the second, with the staff, how you are going to influence the staff. If other faculties, other teaching, if other teachers, remember one thing, inside the campus, every teachers observe each other. You want to believe it or not, this is the reality. Every teachers observe each other. A science teacher will observe a maths teacher will observe a science teacher, and other teachers will observe physical education teachers, and it is always vice versa. Teachers observe each other, and the moment we find that this particular teacher is hardworking, sincere, automatically we have this tendency, we develop this tendency, we give high regard to such type of people. Like I said, why this is so important is until unless the feedback other teachers are having or parents are having, until and the feedback they get about you is positive, influencing them is going to be very difficult. So it always, in the end, it always depends upon how you work. If you're sincere with your student, it is always interconnected. If you're sincere with your student, if you seriously, with love, if you try to improve your student will publicize you. And if they publicize you, you'll be able to influence the staff and the parents. And whenever you need help and support, these people will be always ready to give you support. This is what I want to stress by how to involve the staff and parents. And the best time to get them, the best time to involve parents and staff is during sports day. Sports day, if it is for 1-2 days program, every school has a sports day. My sincere request to physical education teachers around the country is, it is my honest request, is if you're going to organize a sports day, let's say a minimum 1 day sports day program, make sure that 1 hour's time will be devoted for a programs for parents and staff of the institution. This will not just help you in having good rapport inside the school campus. It is one way of showing your social skill also. It is one good way of showing your social skill. That so that this is one. So I'll stress again. Make sure that you will be able to utilize your sports day in a most meaningful way by setting aside, if it is 2 days program, my suggestion is put 2 days, 2 hours, set aside 2 hours program for staff and student, for staff and teachers. If it is 1 day, at least set 1 hour's program for staff and for staff and teachers of the institution. And once you are willing to organize a program for teachers and staff of the institution, just like school children, make sure that the ceremony, the prize giving out ceremony have to be attractive. I did not say that the prize have to be attractive, but the ceremony have to be look good. Who don't want popularity in the school, right? So even if a physical education teacher want popularity in the school, let us remember every staff and other teachers also want popularity in the school. And during your sports day, if you can popularize some talent among the staff and teachers, then what's better cooperation, which better way than which better way it will result, right? So choose your sports day carefully and once again, try to make the staff and teachers involved, even the parents also involved in such program. Coming to the next part, plogging, plogging as part of physical education. What is plogging? Plogging, you must be knowing. Just to go slightly into the history, plogging is it's developed by Sweden way back in 2016. The way they, since it is a small country, for them it is quite easy. What they are doing is they find that there's a lot of litters among the in the countryside. Sweden started getting slightly dirty. There's so many litters, so many waste thrown here and there. And the government comes up with a solution, plogging. They said that, okay, since the healthy people always joke and run, what we are going to do is, when we joke and run, we are going to carry a small bag. Dirty things also will pick up and we'll put it together in one place. It become very, very successful. And around the country, throughout the world, people started implementing it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, from 2018-19, we get really serious in this plogging project, right? If you just look at the picture at the side, you'll be finding our honorable sports ministers doing the work with with top sports person. The same thing you can try out. You can get creative and try out this thing in your school setup. For example, I'll set every time your children come for physical education class, make arrangement, collect a waste basket with you. And for warming up process, send your children, okay, boys and girls, go around the campus or go and around a particular areas and go and collect unwanted plastic materials and bring it to me. You can use this process as this plugging as part of your physical education process. 5 minutes only you give them during your physical education time, it will be a very, very innovative idea. It will be a very, very creative ideas. And I'm very sure your works, the new thing you have initiated in the school will spread out and you'll get good positive publicity also. And plus you'll be doing a very good work for the schools. And if it is really successful, maybe you started putting it 1 day program in a month or in 2 months. And slowly, slowly, according to the successful planning, you can keep on moving to the next point. And almost before we come to the picture part, look at this one. You're going to come with a lot of problems in school as a physical education teachers. I am going to suggest you four important things to improve this, to solve the problems, right? As a physical education teachers or even in your life also, you are going to come across a lot of problems. There's 4 easy steps. The first one is identify the problem. What actually is the problem? You have to know. So many times we try to solve a problem without understanding what is the problem. That is very, very wrong. Take time, identify, understand what is the problem, then only the next step you have to come. Don't just jump into things. Think over it, try to understand what is the real problem, and the next step will be develop a list of solutions. Right? I'll solve this part after identifying and after understanding what is the problem. List out this should be the ideal solution. I'll be able to solve this problem by plan A, plan B, plan C. You list out you list out how you're going to solve the problems. Then what will be the next one? After you list out different ways of solving it, you go back to this list. You go back to this list, and out of the 4 or 5 solutions you have listed, maybe the best one or two will be the best for the situation. Use that one. Analyze it, apply it to the problem, try to solve your problem with that one. And that this is the 4 step. The first one is identify it on after developing a solution, evaluate, means concentrate, analyze, check your problems. And the fourth one is apply, try to solve with the selected solution, try to solve your problems. If you still cannot solve it, there's no sure most of your problem, not only in physical education, in life will be solved. So please do remember these 4 steps of solving any situational problems. I call it the art of solving a problems. And I'll just go to the next one. And as a physical education teachers, it is time you believe your student, you're also creative, and your student, your children are also very creative. Until unless you're willing to accept this one, then it will be always one-sided education, which is very, very harmful. Just have this belief, just trust your instinct that I want you to stress one more time. Just as you are creative as a physical education, always remember that you are equally creative for your student. Sometimes it is just about finding the right connection. Right? If you look at this picture, what the teacher did is the teacher presented the equipments to the student, the children, and children themselves arrange it in such a way, and they are able to come up with beautiful solutions. So the takeaway point from here is believe that your students are also creative, just as you are creative, and try to find that connection between the teacher and children. Then the advantage will be both sides. It is going to be win-win situation. It is winning for them and it is winning for you also. And whenever there's winning, like I said, there's happiness and satisfaction all around. Let us go to the second one. Give new flavors and new. Now this is what we call the dog and the bone, which every physical education teachers always practice. It is the same game. You divide the teams into 2, right? Assigning them numbers, and in between you call out the numbers. The children rush to the center. Maybe you keep a hanky or some ball or something like that, and without the other person, without the opponent touching them, if they can bring the items, the ball or the hanky back to their lines, they got 1 point. This is a very, very common practice we have. Now, why we mentioned this one is I want you to go to take one step from here. If you keep on telling dog and the come on, children who are going to play dog and the bone, after 1 week or 2 weeks, they'll get fed up. Dog and the bone, dog and the bone. They may even identify you as a dog and the bone teacher. That we don't want that. But keep changing. The game is the same. Keep changing the name. And now, for example, you call Romal Chori, Dog and the Bone, back the sun, bring back your champion. You can keep on You can come up with some new ideas, some new names, and you can even ask the children to give a new name to this sort of games. Then it will give all together, you know, a new motivation to play the game seriously. So even whatever is available, you try to keep on adding things. And next one is different exercise you teach to your children, to your student, assign alphabet or number to it. And when the children come to you, like for example, A, B, C, D, you make up to Z, different number of exercise are listed in their screen. Now, A, A to Z number is there. Then when your children come, let's say 40 children comes to you, group them into 10, ask the first group to choose 5 alphabet and the second group to choose another 5 alphabet of different alphabet and the third group to choose different alphabet, the fourth group to choose five different alphabets and tell them it's, and you show the screen that every alphabet for stand for this type of exercise. And you ask the group to perform in certain different areas the chosen exercise. I'm very sure your physical education class is going to be very, very exciting. Please do keep this one in mind. And I think uh, this is emoji. I find as a physical education teacher, this will be my last slide. This will be, I just, if you look at today emoji, you'll always find this one thing is there, that smile, right? I want to, I want you to keep this smile in your program, in your physical education program. As long as you can follow this smile, you are going to be a you are not just going to be creative, you are just going to be a successful physical education teachers. These are almost like the basic principles of how you are going to conduct physical education teachings, physical education classes. The first one in SMILE, the first one is stand for safety. Make sure that the area where the children are going to play is safe. There's no glass or no harmful objects, no sharp object. Make sure that the area where children are going to play is safe. A safe environment is created. And the second one, always M stand for maximum participation. Choose an events, choose a program, choose a game, choose a sports, or choose an activities where maximum number of children will be participating. It is not that 45 student comes and 20 students are looking from the side and you are taking class for 25 students. It should not be like that. Physical education classes, maximum participation activities have to be looked into. And the third one, inclusiveness. Nowadays, there are so many what we call differently able people also are there in the school community. Make sure that they will not be left unutilized. Try to make a program so that they also get involved in one way or the other. They may not be able to run together with other children, but don't just put them at the side. Inclusiveness, make sure that they also be, you are going to utilize them. How you are going to utilize, I'm not going to list out here, but like I said, use your thought and automatically you'll be able to utilize them. Maybe you can use them as a scorer, or sometime use them as a scorer, or sometime for the person to hold the ball, or something like that. Ideas will come if you dig deep into yourself. And the LSMIL stand for learning. Every time you conduct a class, if you can give them, if there's something, some valuable life lesson for take home, for their take home, that will help them so much. Try to give them something life value into every class you are taking. And this is how children will be learning good things from you. And E stand for enjoyment. Enjoyment is your class should not be boring. Children have to enjoy your class. And how children are going to enjoy your class? The best suggestion I can give from my side is get yourself involved. If you participate, if you work with them, automatically they are going to, they are going to involve. In other words, most of them are going to get themselves involved and most of them are going to enjoy as long as you involve yourself as a teacher. And the last one, S stand for success. As a class, let them have this feeling of success. What is the meaning of winning? Let them experience what is winning and let them also experience sometime what is losing and from what losing what they can learn. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to finish my talks on this one. And if there is any question, I'll be happy to take it up. Thank you. Over to uh, Mr. Sujit.
You,
Anything to be added, please?
yeah, you have to unshare it.
Okay. Sanjay? Sanjay?
You have to kindly unshare it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. It's a wonderful presentation. We came to know that creativity is a major tool for everyone to change ourselves. Without creativity, we cannot change. It is not only required for students, it is required for whole society. Then only we can expect a development in this whole society. So it's a wonderful one. Few questions are there related to this creativity, sir. I'm requesting you to please answer these questions.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Muzaffar Ahmad Wani asks that uh, to define this blogging as a part of a fitness in brief.
Define blogging as a part of fitness in
Fitness,
brief.
yes, sir.
Uh, when we talk about blogging is, you know, the objective is always two. Even from the initiative once, like I said, in 2016, Sweden have initiated. When they initiated, the aim is always two-sided. The first one is those to keep yourself fit by jogging and running around. And the second one is to make the environment clean. Environment and personal health always come together. Right? You said, so even where this is blogging, if you want to initiate it, I think it have to come from our heart. Until unless, and one thing I forgot to mention during the classes, until unless you're willing to initiate this type of step from your heart, convincing others to do it is not going to be easy. If you're someone who maintains fitness, all or by running around, maybe morning you go for a jog. I know when you're jogging, picking a liters is not going to be possible, right? So what you can do is, if your intention is to run 4 kilometers, okay, measure it in such a way that you'll be running after 4 kilometers, at least the remaining 1 kilometer works, or at least 500-kilometer walk also should be part of your plan. Then maybe you carry a small pocket, a small polythene bags in your pocket, and that when you're cooling down after that 4 kilometers run, when you're cooling down, if you can take out a small parcel or a small bag, which you always carry with you, and on the way of cooling down at the same time, picking up liters, plastic waste on the way, that will be a very useful thought.
Thank you,
Other
sir.
option also will be there,
Thank you.
right? So you develop fitness at the same time you clean the environment.
Thank you, sir. So one
They,
more
they,
question.
they say that it's good for the health of yourself and also health of the planet. So
That is true. That is very important.
plogging is good for the
Mm.
health of both, for yourself and for the planet. So
One more.
And and one more thing, let me add. This does not always mean that you are going to carry only dirty things, but it can turn out into something innovative ideas also can come up, right?
I just wanted to add, Dr. Lamlun. I mean,
Mm.
last year, Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, what they did was they actually set a record for themselves. They got 7.5 lakh students, 4.5 lakh students, and another 3 lakh parents and teachers to participate in plogging. So 7.5 lakh people participate in plogging on October 2nd, creating a record of almost 15 lakh kilometers together, 2 kilometers everyone. And they picked up about 47 tons of garbage from all the Kendriya Vidyalayas. So it's very interesting thing. I mean, you can actually do a lot of things. I think
True.
it's a beautiful activity to be
Yeah,
incorporated.
it have to be a consistent thing, right? It have to be a
Yeah, yeah,
consistent thing, not a
absolutely.
one-time program.
Yeah, yeah, you do it consistently as a monthly or weekly activity.
So one more question. Um, Shaukat from Sopur, he asked that there are different types of philosophies. Why we have to focus only on developmental philosophy?
That is a good question. Like, see, I know there's so many philosophy. I have listed three philosophy, right? One is uh, winning philosophy, and the second one is participation philosophy, and the third one is developmental philosophy. Now, why I'm stressing more on developmental philosophy is that through physical education, as a physical education teachers and as a physical education, how to say, professionals, let us not just look at winning or developing our body. Let us try to use it as a medium for teaching this life value, life skill. That is why I said developmental philosophy may be the best option. I know it does not mean that you should go on. Does not mean that you come to developmental philosophy and you forget about winning. Nothing like that. And participation, giving fun to the student, you forget. Nothing like that. I want you to slightly concentrate more on giving life value, life lesson to to the children. For example, sportsmanship, right? How to take winning, how to take losing in the right perspective. Sometimes children, when they lose, if they're not taught well, they just get so frustrated. They feel depressed also. They feel even sad also. We don't want that one. How to adjust according to the life situation. Let us try to teach it through physical education. That is my stressing point.
So,
Will it? I hope this answered the question.
yeah,
I'm not stretching only on development.
yeah, satisfied, sir. So one more question is from uh, Wajid Bashir. He says that how could we accommodate students have a good learning than the students with ordinary learning, considering the minimum techniques? Like it is a part of creativity of a teacher also. So can you brief on this?
Patel, will you please kindly repeat that particular question again?
Yeah, how could we accommodate students having a good learning than the students with an ordinary learning, sir?
Okay. How can you accommodate student with a good learning? See, I'm going to share my opinion. As a physical education teachers, I feel physical education teachers' aim is to develop the overall development of the child, of the student. And when you talk about this, it is not about developing excellence. As a physical education teachers, is we have to all the fundamental developments we have to concentrate on it. And once we find someone is really talented, extraordinarily talented. We have to identify it and we should not try to hold back that talent. We should have, we should have the heart also to give out to some better trainers so that at least that person will be able to, in future, maybe that particular person will be able to be an asset for the country also. If if I have a very talented student, or if I'm working in a school and have a very talented child, if I try to keep on holding that person, I may be wasting his talent or his capability. But once I identify that that person is very talented and have a lot of potential, I have to keep on looking for my own contact, and then maybe give them to sport authority trainees or some academy, so that he will be able to grow with the hope that in future you'll be able to do something for the country. Now, when you talk about that idea, how can we put, uh, how to say, those who first learner and slow learner together in physical education class? In the last part, I think when I talk about SMILE, I talk about inclusiveness, right? We, our aim is to involve maximum participation and inclusiveness. You have to find some way or the other so that those who are not talented will not be isolated. In the school, when we talk about life skill, our aim is they have to learn how to do adjust with the situation, with the environment, with others. Now, if you started pushing the non-talented, non-potential group to the side, that means you are doing some injustice to them. Try to find a program in such a way that they'll be able to learn social skill, at the same time develop themselves together. This is what I want. So in future, all physical education teachers also, once you find a highly talented person or an individual with great potential, please make sure that sometimes you should be willing to give them out so that they will be an asset to the country. Can you add something here, Sujit sir?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think what you're saying is right.
Yes.
Sir, one interesting question. Someone is saying that Kamalpreet Buhril is saying that parents actually complain that why we are asking children to pick up stuff from ground. So how then what should we do, and how do we explain this to children and parents that it's a lot of value? I thought
Uh,
it's a very nice question.
that is not a bad question, but it, it is, the answer can be twisted and it can be complicated also. But
Hmm.
looking at this one, see, it is about what, how do you set the priority? To me, I can say only my opinion. To me, how did you, if you want a clean environment, you should have this willingness to clean it yourself also. Until less, like I said, we have that heart to clean the environment, to clean the
So,
wall in
so they
general.
so they so they're asking questions basically not just stuff, not from a litter point of view, but basically the sports equipments which are on the ground. Sometimes you ask children to pick up and put it back wherever you are.
But as as long as I feel, as long as it is done with a purpose, right?
Hmm.
As long as done with the right purpose, that parents have to be open with it. But now, for example, there are so many, as a physical education teachers also, there are so many with different approach also. Now, just without the intention of letting them learn anything, we have to give them the reason. You just call a boy or a girl, hey, why did you just let it go and pick up and go and you put it there? This is not fair. Uh, you have to encourage them in such a way. Doing this thing is going to take it a long way. One example is, if they can put, after using things in the proper way, it can be very helpful even at home also. Now, from the physical education teacher's point of view, we have to always give I think, our region very clear. The objective always have to be very clear. Otherwise, just like asking, almost like uh, too authoritative also is no more going to work, because this will become very sensitive.
Right.
Uh, the, I think that we have to look at it in that way. We should not be so authoritative, but we should try to change it into a learning situation so that the child also will understand
Hmm.
and they'll make it as a learning a lesson.
Yeah.
I think this should be a good learning point for physical education teachers.
Yeah, I think it's a life lesson, right? It's a life lesson that
Yeah, it's a
you
life.
pick up stuff wherever. It's like on your table also, you pick up a book, you put it back where it is.
Yeah,
You learn
right.
how to help your parents also in cleaning the table. So it's a lesson that your PE teacher is teaching you, and you do it as a group. So I think you also have good conversation with your PE teachers when you do that. So there's a lot of value that you actually get when you do this thing. And also, I mean, unless you actually do all that, you develop a lot of discipline from there. So one question is that Bashir Ahmed is asking, what are the programs of fitness for cold areas? I mean, any ideas that you can give for colder areas?
All the areas.
Yeah.
I think so most of the question comes from, if I'm just going to make my rough judgment, it is from that Jammu and Kashmir side.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, cold area fitness activity for cold area. Since we are not from that place, it is not going to be easy. But like I said, the best option is to dress well, right? Like we do in this. Now, for example, I'm working here in Kerala. To go for exercise, we just wear a banyan, a shorts, and then without, because of the weather situation, it doesn't create any problem. But if I am going to do the same, I'm from Manipur, but December, if I go and if I'm going to start my fitness, I'll make sure that I'm dressed well. I'll wear a tracksuit, and then like that, I have to feel warm first
Yeah.
before I seriously start my activities. And once I started my activity, maybe running or jogging, maybe in the slope or in the plane, I think automatically that the fitness activities will started getting the same. And the same reaction will started getting it, body will started warming it by itself, and then will started sweating. So the only suggestion I can give is
Sujit, sir.
dress well first. Dress well first for the cold climate. Then that may be the option. How to keep yourself fit? I I cannot list it down. I think you'll know better also. Since according to the situation, it's also all about adjustment.
Hmm. Yeah, typically you'll break it down into summer activities and
If you're
winter
working inside
activities.
the gym,
Yeah. So
yeah,
essentially, you will
yeah,
break it down into
that is
summer
true.
activities and winter activities. Summer activities will typically do outdoors. I mean, any form of summer. In fact, colder regions are where you can actually do a lot of good summer activities, those 6 months or whatever. And winter activities, most of the fitness activities that you can do outdoor can be done indoor also. We talked about it. That what are the things that you can do it in the corridor? A lot of sport jumping.
Right,
Uh,
right.
yeah, even football also. So there are small with small pop-up goalposts. You can do a lot of activities. Lacrosse is one activity that you can do inside. You can do martial art. You can do inside. There are gymnastics you can do inside. Even smaller basketball poles, and you can all set them up all inside. So you just need to break them in terms of summer activities and winter activities. Otherwise, summer activities you can do all the outdoor activities which are there outside.
Patel, to this one, let me
Yes.
tell, whenever you plan for a fitness program, we always first look into whether it is individual, whether it is a group also, right?
Right.
And if it is planned according to the situation.
Yeah.
And one more thing I want to stress is fitness activity is, to me, it is natural. Everyone knows how to, at least how to keep ourselves fit.
Hmm.
So I let us just look into ourselves. It is natural. Even those who never learn physical education, also at least I am very sure they know how to keep themselves fit.
Hmm.
So whichever it is about what type of fitness program you choose. So choosing a fitness program, it always depends upon the situation,
Hmm.
availability of the resource, and
Hmm.
it is situational decision that have to be taken.
Thank you, sir. One more question is that uh, Parveez, sir. Parveez Jahangir asked that no doubt because for the purpose of creativity, even our physical education teachers are involved in other subjects also. So, but when it comes to physical education part, so there will be a opposite thing like no teachers will be a part of physical education thing. So whether uh, whether as a physical education teacher, not to interfere with other subjects or to be in the physical education itself. So this is part of motivation. How
What he meant to say is,
he
uh, physical education teachers get involved with other subject also,
yeah,
but when it is time for other subject teachers to get involved with physical education,
yes, yes,
and it is not so much happening. It is almost like that.
yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Similar, same.
Okay. So when I talk about how to involve staff and parents, I think I've mentioned a little bit about this one, right? See, uh, it is about forming identity in the school premises. Now, a school environment is where all the teachers, irrespective of what subject they are taking, they always look how other people works. It is almost like intelligent situation. Or one subject teachers will look other teacher, other subject teachers will look at how other people work. And it is not always negative. But whenever we find, for example, if a teacher in general, in subject teachers, if they find a physical education teacher working very seriously, I'll tell you, they keep on talking, a lot of discussion is made, and the total attitude of the teachers towards physical education can be changed. And once you start, and if this, once this situation change, that means when there's slight communication and social acceptance is developed, then there's no reason that they'll be hesitating to help. Now, you'll always find other subject teachers will come to you. Dear teachers, can you help take my class? The same way, after sometimes, if a physical education teachers goes to that subject teachers with this request, if it's free, then I think the same will happen. It is always about give and take process. Now, once you started staying so separate from the other teacher, that is what I always said, that developing this inferiority complex, which so many of us have this tendency to develop. Once you have this, develop this inferiority complex, you will end up getting isolated, and then other subject teachers will start taking advantage of you, right? Other subject teachers, and when it is you trying to take help on someone, they'll not bother to give the same respect you are giving to them. So it is all about partly social skill and maintaining their identity and making yourself visible to the situation. If you are good physical education teachers, I am very sure if you are popular enough inside the campus, no other teachers will can ignore you.
Sir,
Yeah,
thank you
sir,
so
can I
much.
just add to it a little bit? Actually, if I may add a minute of this thing. So, as PE teachers, all of us were also interested in some other subject. I mean, if you really look at it, before we become a PE teacher, we always had a favorite subject as English, Hindi, mathematics, science, whatever. I mean, even each of us. So, what you could do is that you can actually work on the subject that you love, apart from physical education, and create some lesson plan which is like hybrid. So like as an example, if someone is interested in physics, you can use a concept of pull and pull, whether it is tug of war or a sumo wrestling is an example where the forces of pull and push both are there. Similarly, like gravity or change of center of mass. When you do high jump, you are shifting your center of mass outside the body. So the uh, Fosbury flop is an example where center of gravity is shifted. So similarly, if you're interested in English, there are like NCRT has poems on. Uh, so there are a lot of poems which are there. One is about uh, one example that Dr. Buhril talked about was saving the planet, saving the sun. Saving the sun is a game. So you are actually as planets, you are saving the sun. So a lot of interesting games that you can do for different subjects. You can share it with the subject teacher. Similarly, the subject teacher can also share. Like if I have to teach dimensions like what is the dimension of a basketball ground or a football ground, you can actually do it on the ground. If you want to teach someone about time, you can actually do a timing. You can use a stopwatch to teach time about minute, second, millisecond. So you can always give some videos to the subject teachers. They can use it in the classroom. Similarly, you can ask them to take some classes, substitution classes from each side, whether it is a subject teacher or yourself. You can take the substitution classes of the teacher. The teachers can also take your substitution classes to teach subject on the ground. So you can use a ground effectively outside the classroom to do a lot of teaching. Similarly, you can get into the classroom to teach PE in the existing subjects. I mean, those are the ways that you can actually enhance creativity.
Thank you, sir. Today, even Dr. Usha, madam is there with us. Madam want to give his opinion towards this presentation. Please, ma'am.
So most respected, dignified speaker, Dr. Buhril, Mr. Sujit, Dr. Sanjeev Patil, and my dear friends, I think most of you should know Dr. Buhril is a very, a fitness freak, and he makes it a point the entire family practices if you happen to see them. And the thing is, you get him involved in variety of activities, ask him football, volleyball, basketball, any game you put across, I think he is really very good. So indeed, it's an honor to have him to take the session, because you find him playing with the children, he would not miss out anything. So I think it's been well done. So thank you so much, Dr. Buhril, for giving this wonderful session. I also would like to thank Mr. Sujit. But before that, for the information of the participants, there's one request I'd like to ask you is, each one of you, please join with us for this fitness run. So at least covering 2 kilometers a day. And please take a video and post it on our website, please. It's a request. From today onwards, please do that. So hope you all hear me. Take a video and post it. Any other videos you have you think can contribute, please do post it on our website. And maybe if certain videos are very good, there are international forums who are wanting to have it. And especially from Jammu, Kashmir, any rural areas, please put in your videos. Make it a very short and brief video. Second, if you have any stories you'd like to share, please put it on our website. The first thing will come up with us a newsletter. It may be Hindi, English, whatever language you want, you please do that. So this again a humble request to all the participants. Thirdly, I find is when our program is on, I found in case of aerobics, I don't know from where it is, before we are able to come out with a YouTube, our else is already making a YouTube channel, and we are losing the entire subscribers. So my PE teachers, please do subscribe for our YouTube, which is actually coming up. Please do go through it, put in your comments so that the others could know what it is. And it's been so nice that you have been very actively participating, and get involved with your family. Whatever you're learning here, try to put it into practice. Please come out with a video so that we can show them this is what you have been doing. And most of you, all your PE teachers are really great. You're doing a commendable job. The only thing is we can't see you. So let us at least see you in the picture form. So once again, I'd like to thank each one of you, wishing you all the very best, and see that you're there with us even for the programs throughout. And please do not miss out on the Saturday program where we have the 5 sisters, parents coming in. And I'm sure each one of you, some of you might bring in PE to the Olympic podium. So thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Patil, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Shall we go for this concluding part, sir? Yep. Yeah, feedback is there. Yeah, madam. Now in this panelist, even our respected Dr. G. Kishore sir is there. So I request him to give an opinion towards this session. Kishore sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev Patil. Though I have not heard the session fully, but I think the subject and I'm sure that the session would have been definitely something very, very enlightening to all the participants, because creativity in physical education is something very important. Monotony is one of the causes where led to the stagnation of the field. You might be aware that once upon a time, the physical education teacher used to be called as drill master, because they were prone to taking the class for 4-count exercise or 8-count exercise with either whistle or blowing a whistle, or at the most taking them to a ground and giving them a ball to play. So beyond that, no creative activities were involved in the physical education curriculum. Now, it is a time of innovation and technological advancement. And we have got a lot of research going on and a lot of contribution which creativity can be brought in our to the field. And I'm sure that Dr. Buhril, who is taking keen interest in this subject and had been doing quite a lot of creative programs here, and he was also the in charge for last so many years for our extramural programs. And so I think that definitely this session would have brought in a lot of information. I also appeal all the beloved physical education teachers that bring innovation to the field. Don't be just content with contemporary practices. You can bring new designs, new models, new varieties of programs, and it should be, you see, the technological advancements, the demands of the consumers, that is our students, is rapidly changing. They would like to get something which is in lines with the trends prevailing, and something which is appealing and pleasing them. And they will only do those things which give them satisfaction and also which attracts them. So we should be very, very careful in designing the content of our program in accordance of to the demand of especially of the age group about our subjects. At the same time, we should also see that it should be creative, innovative, and in accordance to the later scientific concepts. So, this is something, the message which has been conveyed through creativity. I once again place on record my appreciation to Dr. Lamlun for his the subject, for the excellent presentation and the subject, taking the subject of creativity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Even with us, Sujit Panigrai sir is there. Sir, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, please, your opinions, please, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patil. So it was a great session, Dr. Buhril. I just actually also, I think it was so easy to understand. I think for the participants, I mean, one of the things in physical education is that whatever we actually teach, whether the participants are able to understand them in a very simple manner. And I think all the examples and the ideas that you gave, and you actually gave them a framework. The framework is more important than actually telling them what is to be done exactly. So what you told them is what are the aspects to be kept in mind when you are thinking about creativity, innovation. And you talked about the methods that they need to follow in terms of pluses and minuses that they need to do, in terms of in terms of actually filtering out activities that they should be doing and not doing. Similarly, you also gave example of activities, simple examples like the smileys that you talked about. You talked about tic-tac-toe, the games that you typically play on a mobile phone. Can you use similar things on the ground? You gave some examples on that. And you also gave examples in terms of plogging is something that actually it has stuck to the participants. People would love to actually incorporate plogging in their physical education classes and make it as a routine activity instead of doing it as an annual activity. That is also something that you talked about. Very interesting thought. And I think participants would love to incorporate plogging, that is running, jogging along with picking up litter, which is an integration of healthy planet and healthy self. That is a message that you gave. I think in all the framework that you talked in terms of Saros madam, in fact, in batch 1 had talked about that it is not our job to give activities to the participants, to the PE teacher, but give them a sense in terms of framework that they should be using for thinking afresh. So I think you have given that, and that is a lot of value to all the participants, and it's done in such a simple manner. I think they would all love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Buhril. Excellent session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dr. Buhril, sir, today you made sure that creativity is the only way to solve many problems. So if you want to develop, be creative. So this message you have given to our participants. Thank you very much for this, sir. On behalf of SAI LNCPE, Youth Ministry, Youth Affairs and Sports, on behalf of our respected Dr. G. Kishore, sir, I thank you for your valuable presence as well as valuable lecture what you have given today, sir. Thank you very much.